ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World Talks here on TVP World, where every word matters. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this exclusive interview. Now, Taiwan's Deputy Secretary General of the National Security Council, Lin Fei-Fan, is touring Central and Eastern Europe to urge European countries to stand with Taiwan against authoritarian coercion. At the European Values Summit, Lin warned that an attack on Taiwan could trigger a global economic recession, emphasizing that threats to any democratic nation should be seen as a threat to all democratic values. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss these pressing issues is Lin Fei-Fan, Deputy Secretary General of Taiwan's National Security Council. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Hi, Ben. Hi, everyone.
So let's take a look at the situation in Taiwan, because it is a relatively new democracy, but is already cited as a model of democracy in Asia. Can you help us understand how Taiwan's democratic evolution happened, including the Sunflower Movement that has shaped its current political landscape?
Yeah, first of all, that if you look at the history of Taiwan and you look at the comparison of a lot of Central and Eastern Europe countries, Taiwan and Poland actually shared a very similar trajectory of democratization. We all democratized during the similar timing of early 1990s. So that's quite a common, the third wave of democratization that shaped the new trend of the world. And Taiwan experienced that. After decades of authoritarianism, we experienced over 50 years of authoritarian rules, and also one of the longest period of martial law in history. And after that, our predecessors bring the democracy in, and they fought against authoritarian rules. And a lot of people sacrificed, like what people in Poland did. And so our people, by nature, to be honest, our generation, especially treasure that spirit of democracy. We treasure the democracy way of life. So that's the nature of Taiwan. Yeah.
Right, it's very important to note that democracy is not just a privilege; it is a right that is hard fought for. And can you give us an update on the current state of cross-strait relation, how Taiwan is preparing for potential escalations?
Yeah. So to be honest, there's a saying popular among Taiwanese people, especially the protesters and demonstrators in Taiwan, the activists. There's a saying like, being a Taiwanese is never an easy path. We experienced the authoritarian rules and overcome that. And after that, we are now experiencing another threat across the Taiwan Strait. And so we can never feel like passively to face the threats. We are now in a position to defending ourselves, and especially the democratic way of life. The current situation between Taiwan and China, I think there are a couple of elements we need to look at. Taiwan has been playing as a responsible international actors in the past decades, especially these past 10 years. We have been doing everything we can to secure the status quo of the region. We have been doing to protecting and strengthening our democracy, and we are trying to help others as well. When Ukraine happened, the Ukraine war happens. Actually, Taiwan is probably the first one providing funds, providing support directly to the Ukrainian people. The basic reason is because we believe in democracy, and every democracy should be protected. It should not be annexed by any authoritarian government or any authoritarian states. But currently, we saw the cross-strait tensions. It's not triggered by Taiwan. We are not escalating any tensions across the Taiwan Strait. But what we are facing nowadays, we have been facing the direct military threats. Just past couple of weeks, if you look at the news in Taiwan, every day, China sent their PLA fighter jets to cross the median eye of the Taiwan Strait. And they're sending Navy vessels to harass the waters around us. They're sending Coast Guard ships and to inspect even the sightseeing boat and to trigger panics among the people on board. And they formulate some kind of exercise similar to a blockade or quarantine. That's what they have been doing. The past 2 years, we see the escalation of tensions. It's triggered totally by the Chinese efforts. they're not just doing that to Taiwan. They're doing the similar harassment to Japan, to Philippines. That's already happened. So their intention, I believe, and I think that many people also recognize that, they're doing everything and to try to expand their influence and try to exert influence across the First Island chain. That's their intention. That's their purpose.
Right. And speaking of expanding their influence, we also see them making a kind of an unholy alliance with Russia. Now, there's a recent report about China exporting dual-use goods to Russia, and there's even reports now saying that they might be manufacturing drones for Russia to use in Ukraine. Can you help us understand what's the relationship between the two countries?
Yeah, so just to remind everyone about the history, if you look at just 20 days, I think approximately 20 days before the Ukrainian war happens, what the Chinese officials publicly say, they say that China and Russia's cooperation is a strategic one. And their cooperation is no limit, no forbidden zone, and no ceilings. That's what they're public stating.
Right.
And what we have been observed and what we have been seeing in these 2 years, we see more and more enduring exercise that conducted by Russia and Chinese PLA. That's already happened. If you look at the tension currently, when the Ukrainian war is still happening, and the tension in the Middle East is rising, but what China and Russia do in Indo-Pacific is actually they're escalating the tensions on the whole region in Indo-Pacific. This year, they have already have the 11 times joint exercise.
Right.
That's quite a huge amount of number. In the past decades, they have exercise annually, but usually it will between like 4 times or 10 times a year. But now this year, to this moment in September, we already spot over 11 times of military exercise conducted jointly by PLA and also Russian forces. So that's a new trend. And on the other front, economy front, you see the economy trend that when Russia is being sanctioned, now Russia cannot do trade through the US dollars or Europe. Now they're doing trading with their Chinese partners, right, directly with renminbi. So they're creating a new platforms and to protecting each other's economy, strengthen their own bilateral cooperation through trade. That's what we have been seeing. And certain technology has been transferred from China to Russia to help them to assemble weapons against the Ukrainian. That's already happened too. So what we are arguing is that China's ambition is way beyond their perception of Taiwan.
Right.
They're doing everything to alter the international rule of the world orders based on the international rules. So that's what we have been observed.
All right. It's something that echoes what you said during the European Values Summit. You emphasized the threat posed by authoritarian regimes. So my question will be, how can Europe and Taiwan effectively counter these type of threats together?
Yeah. So we know that many countries have been already witnessed China's and Russia's aggression and their attitudes toward the European nations. But to be honest, I think there's still a room to improve the understanding of what China is doing in Europe, especially in Europe. That I know that some of the countries in these continents might think that China's issues is far away from us, far away from this continent. The imminent threat is Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's the security of the European continent. Mm-hmm. But if you count China's efforts into this, including their joint exercise, including what they are doing through the hybrid threats toward the European Union and European countries, you can find that they're doing everything to undermine the democratic rules through the hybrid threats. Mm. So I think the first thing that we can do together is to raise the awareness of how connected of the two theaters, one in Europe and one in Indo-Pacific. Mm-hmm. This two theaters is actually the one. It's a one theater. We are all combating the similar and actually the same enemy. That is China and Russia try to undermine our democracy. Mm-hmm. And there are through many different ways. Every country in this continent face hybrid warfare, connected warfares, disinformation, cyber attacks, and even political interference, the so-called FIMI, foreign interference. That's already happens for this decades. And so bringing awareness is the first step, I would argue, that Taiwan and European countries can join together. First, this to exchange ideas, to exchange understanding, compare notes, what is happening, what China is doing. And second, to have the understanding of that. China might seem to try to soften their diplomatic gestures,
right.
But to be aware, none of their military action, none of their gray zone harassment, none of their hybrid warfares against the European unions, against the European country has been stopped.
Right, it's only rhetorical.
Yeah. So I think the first thing I would argue is to expand this cooperation on identifying the threats together. And the second thing, identifying the area that we can work together to strengthen our bilateral cooperation. No matter it's for security or for economy resilience, I think economic resilience is one of the big topics that European countries and also Taiwan could share.
Right. And you're talking about compare notes just now, and I'm also wondering what lesson can Taiwan draw from Ukraine's experience when it comes to defending its territory?
Yeah, so we have been watching the battlefields in Ukraine very closely. To be honest, we know that China is also watching that. Mm-hmm. We know that Russia is also providing some of the knowledge that how they fighting against Ukrainian people. So we are watching that closely. The lessons we draw actually from the inspiration of the Ukrainian people, I think basically first, determination is the key point. The determination among the peoples to safeguarding your own democracy is the key. Mm-hmm. So in Taiwan, the Taiwanese government, the Lai administration, coming in May, coming after this May, we are doing everything we can to strengthen our capabilities to defend ourselves. We are increasing our military budget. Now it's approximately about 20 billion USD a year. We are doing that. We are conducting military reforms through extending our military service, compulsory military service, from 4 months to a year. We are strengthening our whole of society resilience defense program. So the idea is that defending Taiwan shouldn't be just an issue of the military. It should be a joint effort of the whole society. Mm. So societal resilience is very crucial. So we are strengthening that and continue to investing in this area.
Right, and last but not least, while Taiwan and Poland have been developing closer ties in recent years, what specific areas do you see opportunities for deeper cooperation between Taiwan and Poland?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of elements we can really look at. The first thing is, I think we all share the similar democratic values. We all experience authoritarian rules. While there's a history or historical context differences, but we all share the similar values. And that values is a quite important foundation for our collaboration. So build upon this, I think we can think of the joint collaborations on defending democracy, exchange ideas, that's the first thing. And to think about how people can help each other. If one face economic coercion, if one face the domestic threats, for example, the outside threats from through the hybrid warfares, for cyber attacks or connected warfare or disinformation, we can consider that and think of how to cooperate in this area. But the last thing I will say, Taiwan is a country that possesses the technology advantages. Mm-hmm. And we definitely want to share with our like-minded partners. We would like to strengthen this cooperation. But how can we build the foundation for this collaboration and cooperation? The mutual communication should be crucial.
Right.
And the people-to-people exchange, I believe that a lot of people in Taiwan really treasure these two bilateral relationship we have shared these couple of years and want to extend that for people to come over to Taiwan, to visit Taiwan, and for Taiwanese people can also come visit to Poland and to build that kind of trust and mutual understanding.
Brilliant. We are only as strong as we are together and as weak as we are apart. Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching this edition of World Talks on TVP World. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned.